Hey, it's me again. So I'm doing these videos in my kitchen because the light's good here. And in my art studio, the light's really dim. Anyway, this is going to be an unusual video. And if you have problems with really strong images when it comes to dealing with cancer, we all know that cancer can be very unpleasant. And I know for me it is. I go through a lot of unpleasant times. And I'm an artist and I draw and paint and make videos and sculptures and things. And I kind of make pretty wacky ones, actually. If you look at my art, it's like pretty weird stuff, I'll admit. It's kind of underground, crazy, insane stuff that sometimes has religion, sex, and violence in it. So, pain can be violent in a ways. And the way I describe it actually kind of comes out that way because, I have bone pain and then I have pain in my abdomen, in my arm, in my back. And just, it's a constant fight that I'm dealing with. In fact, I've made videos about talking about it before, and I'm on lots of pain medication and everything, and it's I find myself weeping from it a lot because it's sometimes it's hard to bear. I mean, it's a big cross to carry around, and I hope someday to be free of it, and that's going to be a glorious time. But in the interim, when I feel pain, I make art. So I'm going to share some of these things with you. Here we go. This is the very first one I did, and I did this when I was waiting for the doctors. And you know how you go to the hospital and you go in there and they're like, well, what pain? Are you in pain? And what level is your pain? And then what kind of pain is it? And I just was like, I'm so tired of being asked that question, And I just sat there and they had these like little pieces of paper and it was like cancer art therapy. And, it's like people drawing butterflies and stuff. And I like pulled a sheet of paper out there and I was like, I'm going to start drawing. And then I just thought, I'm going to pull out my book. And I pulled out my little sketchbook and I'm like, I'm going to draw pain. And this time when I go in that office and they ask me what my pain is, I'm just going to show them the picture. And this was the picture that I drew. And I have this really bad shoulder bone pain, as you can see here. That's described as a chainsaw in my shoulder. And I'm telling you, these are real things, they're all the different areas that I have pain in my body. And so that's number one. There's more to come. This is going to be like a mini art show, just so you know. I also did a little simple thing like this, like, those things, right? Where is your pain? The different levels. But it's in some ways it's not fun. So I thought, okay. So every time I would be at home and in pain, and what I would do is I had left the sketchbook in my bed and I would just pull it out and I'd start drawing. So these are legitimately done when I'm in that moment. And it's amazing that I'm able to pull it off, to be honest with you. Here's another one. And I always describe that feeling as swords because, oh God, or a spear, because it's a mixture of bone pain and just the pain from the cancer that's like hitting my nerves. I also sometimes write. Here's another one. Pretty crazy. Yeah. And I guess the one thing that I when I look at them after I do them is that pain is a really lonely experience. That's what I get out of it. Here's another one. I think you want to look at them longer, just pause the video. This one I don't like because of the colors, but when I would go in to do chemotherapy, when they access my port, they flush it out, and I'm the kind of person that gets that as soon as they start touching it. I get that taste of the saline in my mouth, and I cannot get it out. And it was just this thing that turned my stomach so much. And I did this one day when I was sitting in the chair. I was just like, oh, the saline, it's so, it's called The Taste of Chemotherapy. Some of these have titles. Here's this one. And I decided I'm gonna do an art show of them. This is one that kind of, I borrowed some religious imagery because it's about agony. I'm Catholic, so, and of course, I went to art school and everything, so I was educated in that Western style of the Renaissance and all that, so I do frequently borrow from them. This is called Agony in Bed. And it's like this cup will pass, the cup being pain. And I'm going to do an art show of these because it's one of those things where, why not, I can do it, and I have so many of them. So this is called Medicine Time, and it's funny because I have another one started that I'm not going to show you because it's not finished, and it has medicine as like an angel and a devil kind of chained together because it's kind of like this good and evil thing, And this one is 8 a.m. I got to get up and take a medication, and I wake up and I'm just like, oh, it's killing me. And so I get that medicine, and this really is a good description of what I feel like when I wake up in the morning. And it's called Medicine Time. I kid you not when I say that. It really is. It's whew. The other thing I have is I'll have diarrhea and vomiting, and of course sometimes those things happen at the same time, and then of course you still have pain and everything. So this doesn't have a title, but you'll figure it out. It's kind of crazy. The snakes came from when I have this malabsorption. It kind of makes you poop all these curly things. They literally looks like snakes. Here's one where I had been in so much pain for days, and it's kind of funny because right now I need to take some meds, but I've been in pain for days and trying to get the pain under control, and I hadn't taken a shower, and I was like, oh my God, I got to take a shower. And so I put little flies under my arm. And of course, my arm that's in pain has arrows and things, and it gets useless. And so I drew it kind of like a snake with no eyes. And then, of course, rats coming out. Rats are a pain thing for me too. So and the eyeballs and the tongue are just like this thing of Martin de Porres. And he's my patron saint. My mom, he's a saint of like poor people and orphanages and hospitals. And he did a lot to help the poor. He was my grandmother and my mom's patron saint. And I kind of took that on. And so occasionally when I try to do charity stuff, I try to do that for poor people, like things to help them, food and clothing and whatnot. But laying in bed in pain, sometimes you're sitting there and you're talking with, I'm sure you found this where you're talking with the world, and you're just like, from things like, hey, get out of bed, get out of bed, to things where you kind of talk to yourself. And so it's kind of weird. Anyway, so this is called Me Talking with San Martin de Porres, and It's written in Spanish, so that's why. But you'll get it, and you'll get the sense of how much pain I was in too. So there, it's kind of wild, huh? That's San Martin visiting me, and yeah, I have others, but I'm not gonna break them all out because I do want to show you one more, which is the one that I was just working on just 2 days ago, because it was when I was dealing with these patches, and I woke up and from sleeping, and oh my god, it's just like the pain had gotten better, but it was kind of like this new pain, and I just was feeling like I had been beaten up, like it was just anyway. So here's that. This is the sketch, so it'll it'll change. I don't know if you can see it. Can you see it that well? It's basically me and all these little creatures with bats kind of beating me up. So I'll go in and ink it. But it's also, on an artistic level, it shows how, I love classic Renaissance art. And even though I went to an art school where all they talked about was ideas and they don't really teach you how to paint, I was born with like this natural ability to be able to see the figure and everything. So this kind of shows you that talent that I have for being able to draw the human figure and, put it in different positions and things. And it's quite interesting. But, and it's reminiscent of, Bruegel and Bosch, all these old, early painters who definitely were very talented in drawing the figure. I think I just call myself talented. Yes, there's still ego left in this cancer-ridden body, my friends. So that's it. Art from cancer pain. That's what it's like. And I hope you enjoyed it. I'm definitely going to ink those things, and I'm going to put them in frames. And I show my art all over, but I've yet to kind of announce to everybody that I have pancreatic cancer. Just my friends and family know, my close friends and family. But I think I will do a show that so people who have cancer can come see it. And maybe it's too much for them to see. I don't know, but definitely I want to share it. Some of the people that I've shown it to, they do like it because, they say it's heartbreaking, but they also enjoy it because they know that it's coming from a real place. And I guess once I pass, and as time moves on and you get further and further away from that, a person having that experience, then it's easier for other people to look at. But anyway, have a great night.